Now, I've been getting a lot of questions about my car. This is the Cadillac Lyriq. Take it for a little ride, show you what I've learned, and a couple of things that hopefully other people haven't quite shown you.
All right, you heard the man. Let's go, let's go, let's go!
So right now, I'm in the car, phone's charging. Got an Android phone. It has one of the MagSafe cases on there. So sometimes the metal that's in the case causes it not to charge. Otherwise, yeah, that works out pretty well. Using DJI stuff to record this, so we'll see how long the battery lasts. Currently in park, you hit your brake, pull back and down, put you in drive. The car is smooth as butter. It's the only way to describe this thing. Got the AC running, so I don't know what kind of noise you guys are hearing right now. But turn signal's loud enough when there's no music playing. When the music's on, sometimes I don't even notice when the turn signal turns on. But again, it's so quiet, so smooth. It's so fresh and so clean. Wait, that's different.
Take the next left onto East Front Street.
Currently using the Google Maps that comes in it. It also has Android Auto, Apple CarPlay. But when you use the built-in map,
East Front Street for 1 mile.
let's kill some sound here. Use the built-in maps, you get a percentage of battery life for your destination. So you've got an estimate of how much charge you'll have. So range anxiety is kind of a thing a lot of people deal with. I'm not really worried about it because everything's close. I do drive more than most people, so I can understand why a lot of people are, a little paranoid to drive around. They don't know where their battery's going to be, how that thing's going to work out. I drive for a living, so not an issue. No fear. Now, I should have gotten on the freeway to show off the Super Cruise, but that'll be a different video, different time. Currently in Michigan, as you can tell by the bumpy roads. Again, not sure how the view is here, but I'm currently in sport mode and gauge view, which offers a different view when you switch modes. Go to tour mode, the view changes there, and I almost like that better, but I like the responsiveness of sport mode a little better. For example, don't know where I'm going, so guess I'm going to continue straight here. Okay. Now, when you're in tour mode, you can accelerate. There's like a little bit of a hiccup before it really takes off. When you switch to sport mode, please tell me that's not the turn I wanted. That's the turn I wanted. Yep, pushing buttons on the car while trying to drive, not the brightest idea. But it's not like I have to be anywhere right now, so let's just drive around. Now, if I hit the accelerator in sport mode, it immediately picks up and wants to go. So that's just a little bit of a hiccup. And it's not really a hiccup, it's for people who aren't really trying to be the drag racing king down the road. If they want to accelerate and they want to not spill their drinks everywhere, luxury mode's the way to go. You still get the full, it will throw you against the seat as you keep the accelerator down, but it's less likely to throw your drinks across the room. Now, I'm currently going 21 miles an hour. As long as you're under 25, there's an ambient sound. It's kind of alien, kind of... If you've heard a lot other electric vehicles, you know what I'm talking about. It just makes this little sound to alert people that there is a very quiet car that's sneaking up on you. Because even with that on, I've still scared people when they were walking because they've had headphones on or something like that, and you just do not hear the car coming. Now, I'm no car expert, but I do rent cars quite often, and I've got to say that this is really, really smooth. This is the Sport 2 model, all-wheel drive. Comes with the heated and cooled seats with massage. And I've seen people complain that the massage isn't that great. It's not, powerful enough. And I have to answer back that you're in a car. This is a car with massaging seats. It's not meant to be, a masseuse. I don't believe the car has training. So it does a decent enough job. I've got lower back issues, too much basketball. And this helps. It feels really good. It doesn't replace going to an actual, massage therapist or a chiropractor or anything. But it keeps me from getting out of the vehicle feeling worse than when I got into it. And that's really all you can ask for. Well, correction. You can ask for a whole lot more. That's really all that makes sense to ask for. Yep, starting to really second guess not taking the freeway right now, though. Why are you stopping? We have no stop sign. And you're turning left. Oh my gosh, I should just... Anyway, we will edit that out. Let's see, what else? Alright, so seen the different gauge views. This is the energy view. And one thing I should tell you, most of these all show the same things, just in different locations. Since it's energy view, the emphasis is on how many kilowatts you're using at the moment. So that puts that kind of front and center. Off to your right is the speed. You can switch to maps, which will give you a totally different view. You still get your speed. Your kilowatts you're using is very small down the left corner. How much battery you have is very small down the right corner. Emphasis on the maps. When you go to assist view, you've got your speed over here. A little pop-up of your current map if you've got that running. If you've got music going, it'll pop that up there instead. It's getting ready for fast charging because that's a destination I've put in there, so it knows, preconditions the battery. So when I get there, it'll be ready to go. But since we're in assist mode right in the center, it shows that I've got one car length I have it set for the cruise, which is adaptive cruise and super cruise. And it shows your lane keeping on the sides. Notice how it popped a car in front of me because that guy's not quite over far enough, so I thought a car was ahead of me. Now we actually have a car, and it'll do its job. And last but not least, there is the clean view. You've got your speedometer right there. That's the important part. That's front and center. Right below there, small, it shows using currently 1 kilowatt. Below there, miles that I have left, 216. And you've got your little Super Cruise icon, which shows up right there on gauge. Right above there, there's a steering wheel that shows up if you're on a road that Super Cruise is available on. When that shows up, you got the option to hit your Super Cruise button here on the steering wheel, and it'll take your current speed, just like regular cruise control, maintain that speed. Just like adaptive cruise control, if the car in front of you is going slower, it'll slow down so you don't run into the back of it. Difference is, Super Cruise will actually, say you're on a highway, 2-3 lane highway, you're in the right hand lane, the guy in front of you is going 60, you've got your cruise set to 70. So it's coming up on him. It checks your side, your peripheral vision on the left, make sure there's no cars coming, no car directly beside you, turns on your turn signal, moves you over, turns off the signal, continues on so you can be at the speed you want to be at. Once you pass the person, if all's clear, it turns on your signal to the right-hand lane, moves you back over, turns off the signal, continues on. All without you touching the turn signal itself, touching the steering wheel, accelerator, the brake, anything like that. You're just enjoying your drive. Unlike some of the other cars, this little part right here, that uses a camera to watch your eyes and see where your head's facing. So Super Cruise is on, you have to be looking forward at the road. Again, you don't have to be looking at the road because it's not facing, that well. You could be looking at the sky, you could be daydreaming off in the wilderness. But as long as your head's facing forward, so you will notice when something happens, it will let you use Super Cruise. If you stop looking forward, you're allowed to actually look at your passenger, look at the radio, something like that. If you spend too much time not looking ahead, it'll give you a warning and say, hey, look forward. It'll start flashing. A little light here that's usually green when Super Cruise is ready, starts flashing red, telling you to pay attention. If you do not pay attention after that, it will tell you Super Cruise is now turning off and that you need to drive yourself because you're not paying attention. When I first heard that, I kind of laughed at it. Then I got a message on my phone from work. I'm Super Cruising along, You're not supposed to use your phone while driving because that's horrible. Do as I say, not as I do. Real quick look. Still paying attention. Look down. Still paying attention. Apparently looked down a little too long. Not paying attention enough when it warned me. Next thing you know, it said, hey, I'm turning off. Basically, I got grounded from my phone by my car. So, kudos to that for making sure you're a safe driver, not letting you fall asleep in the car and just setting a destination or something. Which brings up another point. Like right now, I have a destination set. If Super Cruise was available, I'd hit it. It would keep me in this lane or the right lane, depending on when I started, and continue on. If my destination has right turns, left turns, if it's off this road, Super Cruise does not care. Its job is to keep you safely in this lane or fast enough that you can get around and get back into the lane again. So it will not directly steer you to where you need to go. It will just keep you here and have you totally miss your destination because you're not paying attention. Which gets you back to it does do a driving bit, but you still need to pay attention to where you're going. Speaking of which, I should be getting over here. I will set the adaptive cruise, which they call cruise braking, on. So this little light here turns green. Again, not sure if it shows up on the camera, but trust me, it's green. It will keep me at this speed unless the car in front of me is slower. Then it will slow down gracefully. If we all stop at a light, it'll completely stop at the light. When you start going, it picks up and starts going again. Of course, it's not looking at the red light, it's looking at the vehicle in front of you. So if there's no car in front of you and the light turns red, you need to actually either hit the brake, hit your pedal up here to stop it, or turn off the cruise to stop. Because it will not stop, you will run the light, and there will be casualties. Because this is not a light car. There are batteries packed under the floorboard, which helps maintain the center of gravity, gives a big area for your batteries. And it's what lets you get... With the all-wheel drive, it says 307 miles an hour. It all depends on your driving. I've had times where I've hit like 340. But again, it depends on your driving. If you are being the perfect driver, which I was specifically trying to do just to see how far I can make this, not going over 70 miles an hour, accelerating super hard, just being what, your driver's ed instructor would give you a high five for, you can extend the battery range, especially if a lot of it's being downhill. One pedal driving helps you regenerate some battery back in there without having to touch your brakes. Now, say you are a lead foot, heavy pedal guy or girl. I say guy, meaning the general sense. No offense, women who actually enjoy good cars as well. If you're heavy on the pedal, you're going to have a lot less battery range. So take everyone's range readings with a grain of salt. When I was looking for an EV, my first thing was it needed to have over 300 miles of range, because most of the time you're only charging to about 80% anyway. So when they tell you you've only got, 280 miles, knock that down to about 220, 240 maybe, because you're not going to continually keep that at 100%. It takes way too long to get 100%. Whereas half an hour to get you to 80, that's reasonable. We've changed our way from, okay, we need to run and get gas and then run out and do this, to we need to go do this and this and this. Then we're going to go put this at the charger, stop for some food, or do whatever. Then hop in and then finish the rest of our day. If you don't look at charging like, man, I've got to take half an hour to do this, schedule it for when you need to go get food or when you have to stop at a store. A lot of Meijers have chargers now. Your grocery shopping, as fast as you think you are, usually takes around half an hour. Even the self-checkout lanes now have become so long that it takes about half an hour for you to get in, grab the 2 items that you were going to get, run back and grab a cart, and then finish everything else that you've also realized you need, because carrying around that 24 case of whatever, suddenly gets heavy. By the time you get out, your car's at 80, 85, depending on how long the lines took. You're set to continue your day. And for those of you who have a charger at home, then it's not even an issue. You go do what you need to do. You park at home, you plug it in. Next day, you go do what you need to do. It's the long trips where you actually have to plan what you're doing. Just like at a regular gas station, you plan ahead where you want to go, make sure there's a charger somewhere along the way. You plan your half an hour to eat, or to stop and use the restroom, or to sightsee if you want to. I went to visit my best friend recently. We went down to the Dayton Air Force Museum. Turns out that they have 4 chargers right there. So I was able to plug in. We went around the museum. Now, mind you, the chargers were not fast chargers at all, but they were enough to make sure that I can get to a fast charger later on and not have to worry about, well, we made it here. I have to stop immediately to charge up, or else we're not going to get anywhere else. Things work out pretty darn good lately. And soon, with Tesla chargers opening up to everyone, range anxiety is going to be less of an issue, and it's going to be more of a timing issue. Like, okay, we can go charge wherever we want to. It's just an issue of, do I want to stop here for lunch, or do I want to stop over here for lunch? Meanwhile, here we are on a very nice little stretch of road. Super Cruise is available. So hit the button. Keeps me in my lane, hands-free the whole time. there is not a passing lane. So I'm very curious what happens if it's a 2-lane road like this. Does it recognize the yellow lines? Is it pre-mapped? Just knowing that this is essentially a no passing area for a supercharger, dear Lord, for Super Cruise. Because if you're driving yourself, you can see, okay, no cars coming up ahead. I can whip around in front of this guy. I'm in an EV. Acceleration's not an issue. I would not trust the car to look up ahead and say, I can make it around this car just in case, on its own. Super Cruise disengaging, take vehicle control. Super Cruise unavailable, no road information. We are now at a point, there's a red light. Technically, it should have road information that this is a red light, but maybe it's just being safe and saying, take over anyway. We'll see what happens when we get past this point. But I am a huge fan of one-pedal driving. And once again, Super Cruise light popped back up. Notice nothing here right now. So I hit the button. It immediately turns green. Turns green there. We are off and going. There is a big truck in front of us that theoretically I will catch up to. I may be going a little over the speed limit, but apparently so is he, so we'll see what takes place. I don't know if I finished the one-pedal driving thought, but being able to just keep your foot on the accelerator. No bouncing back and forth between the accelerator and the brake pedal, just purely accelerator. You need to stop, you let go of the accelerator. Now that's how I used to drive when I was driving my ICE vehicle. And I see we're gonna stop soon, so I'm letting off the accelerator. It's starting to slowly coast and slow down. By the time I need to stop, it's just barely, a slight little press of the brake and we're stopped. With this, the braking is so much more aggressive. As in, when you're driving an ICE vehicle, you're letting off the accelerator, you're not braking, you've just stopped accelerating. With this, it actively brakes. So I can be going 64, let off the accelerator, it immediately wants to get me down to 0. So you let off slowly, gradually release your foot pressure, and it will start slowing down. All right, I am up close to the truck, got my one vehicle distance. It's currently slowing down because that truck's going slower than I am, and it is not trying to pass. And I do have the car set to change lanes when there's an opening. So we're going to assume that it knows, well, for now we're going to assume it's the lines. It sees now the double yellow lines, knows not to pass. We'll see if it's actually the lines or if it knows the road is not a passing area once we get to the single dotted lines, or dash, or however you want to look at it. Because technically I could pass right now. The car is not trying to. That makes me happy. Because there's oncoming traffic and I am not prepared to die and have it on film. But my turn is up ahead. And we would have just kept on flying right behind the truck because that's what we have it set to do. We were set to go forward at this speed and continue on. So I have to manually do that. And you can see the steering wheel has left here, so this road is not Super Cruise ready. can still set the manual cruise, and it'll keep you at whatever speed. But you will occasionally go off the side of the road or cross over into the yellow line, cross into the other lane over the yellow lines, because this is not a Super Cruise road. Now, it does have lane keep assist, which will lightly tell you, hey, you're out of your lane, move you back a little bit, but it won't actively keep you there. So if you do continue to go off a lane, it'll just start beeping and making noise, and you will crash into mailboxes, oncoming traffic, and occasional swans. I don't know where you live. There could be swans. So we've got another 12 minutes to reach our destination. Probably less time until I run out of battery on the camera or on the microphone. Who knows? Let's turn off the cruise and stop for the railroad. The car also has the auto hold. So once you come to a complete stop, you still don't have to hold your brake. You still don't have to touch anything else. You will stay in place. You can turn that off. So if you want to creep forward a little bit, you can. I prefer the auto hold because, hey, why do extra work, right? If I wanted to creep forward, I would press the accelerator. One of the reasons you don't hear outdoor noise and everything's so quiet inside is because the system here pumps in kind of an ambient noise through the speakers as you're going along. So if I didn't have the air on, if I was listening very closely, you could hear like kind of a, the crowd going wild somewhere off in the distance. And the car itself has speakers in the headrest. So right beside your ears, you got this little, very hardly noticeable sound, which blocks out all of the other very noticeable sounds you'd hear outside. Or just random wind buffeting that you might hear. It's a very smart design. Makes the car seem even quieter than, it has a right to be. It gives you a very accurate estimate of your distance and your battery percentage, thanks to the integration with Google Maps and Android Automotive in the Cadillac Lyriq. Should I have? Yep, I should have turned right there. So that accurate estimate might be screwed up now, thanks to me. All right, good job. Let's do some quick fancy U-turning here. Fortunately, not a busy road. Yeah, remember my discussion about paying attention as you drive? Gotta pay attention as you drive. If I'm going somewhere new or taking a direction I don't normally go, I do usually keep the sound on so it tells you where to turn. But it's very rough doing a video when this voice just keeps coming out of nowhere saying, in 4 miles. Like, okay, gotcha. In 3 miles. why are you talking so much now? You've never talked as much. So yeah. Alright, once again, Super Cruise. We are set to a higher speed than that truck in front of us is going. It just auto lane changed, turned the signal on, moved me over, turned off the lane, says the auto lane change is complete. So far, so good. We have now passed the truck, looking for an opening, changing lanes. Auto lane change complete. No hands, nothing touching the steering wheel, never touched the turn signal. A lot of people are freaked out by that. They don't like the fact that the car can do this on its own. You do not have to use it. It comes in very handy when you've got a sandwich here, you're trying to drink, something like that. It's spilling everywhere, you're trying to clean up. Keep your eyes on the road. You can always grab it with your knees, your hands, whatever you need to do. Otherwise, just continue on. The car will take care of you. Again, I say, do not rely 100% on the car. Keep a watch on, because there are times when it will say, hey, you need to take over. I don't know this road. If there's something crazy going on, there's construction, something needs to be done. You are still the driver. Make sure you're ready to drive. But otherwise, it's very calming, relaxing. You've had a stressful day. Sometimes you're not going to react really great when you're getting off work and heading home, complaining about your boss or what your coworker just did. It's very nice to be able to hit Super Cruise and not let, your anger from work kind of weigh your foot down, start cutting people off. Just relax, let the car get you home. Take your deep breaths, put on some relaxing music. Don't fall asleep. But I think that is all we've got right now. I'll pop it back on once we get to the charging station, and we'll do a quick overview of the charging. Here's a quick overview of the charging. As you can see, I've switched it to energy so you can see what's going on. Getting 109 kilowatts as I charge. According to this, 58%. The car agrees with that. Increasing at a range of 313 miles per hour. So in 25 minutes, I will be at 85%, which is my chosen charge percentage. So that way, when I get back home, I will be at roughly 80%. I'm using the GM Energy location at the Pilot Flying J. That is an EVGo charging station. 350 kilowatt charge time. So essentially, it is one of the fastest charging locations around. My car does not get 350 kilowatts, as you can see. Currently getting 105. There is a Mustang over there charging as well. It's at a different station. Should not be affecting my charge. So that's purely on the charger itself. Now, the reason I'm going with the fast charge, well, in this case, there's only 350 kilowatts. If there was a slower one, let's say 150, that would still be better than what my car can get at the moment. I think the fastest mine goes is 154. On average, it's about 147. Today is slow for some reason. Well, 104 kilowatts is not slow, I apologize. It is slower than normal for some reason. But the reason to do that is because it does do simultaneous charging, as it says there. Meaning if another car pulled up and I was able to get 350 kilowatts, I would not. It would be dividing that in half, so we'd each be getting, 125. Something around that. 175, sorry. And again, that's still faster than the fastest mine can do, which is why certain cars, certain people who drive certain cars get upset when a car that can only get at their fastest speed, like 70 kilowatts, pulls up at the 350 kilowatt charger. Meanwhile, cars that can charge faster get stuck at a 150 kilowatt charger or less when they could be switching around. That car would still get its fastest speed, and then the other one too could get their fastest. The Lyriq, you pull up at the fastest charger you can get, charge yourself up. There won't be a benefit to going any faster than a 350 charger because your car cannot do faster unless... No, it can't, period. It cannot. Meanwhile, other gauges you can look at. The gauge shows you your clock. Still shows all that there. That's a little area where it shows if your cruise is on or not. It will turn green once your cruise is set. You saw energy. You can go to map. It'll pull up your map. So you have a good view right there, along with whatever view you got on the side here, so you can have the map on both sides, should you choose. I'm 15 minutes from home. If you go to assist, what I showed earlier, that's speed's there. Turn signal got bumped. Shows your car in front of you, what music's playing, since I don't currently have anything, plugged into the map, so it's not trying to get me anywhere. The clean view, which is clean. Not a whole lot of anything going on the sides, either side. I'm a fan of gauge view just because I like having everything up there. Dead center. The only view you get that has the temperature and the time and the date right there. On the side here, there's your current trip. Currently 27.3 miles. Efficiency 2.7 miles per kilowatt hour. Not horrible, it's kind of average for me. Since I've had the car, I've put almost 4,000 miles on it. At about 2.8. This is where your headlights functions are, so you don't spend a lot of time on here trying to find them, which I probably would have had I not wanted this car for so long that I knew where everything was. But setting it to auto is your usual way cars are now. Once it gets dusk, the lights turn on automatically. It keeps the daytime running lamps going. There is the auto brightness, auto dimming type of thing. So dark road, no one in front of you, no one oncoming traffic. Your brights will turn on. If a car shows up, it turns them off. That's kind of handy. Unlike a lot of cars, the wipers are on the left stalk from the steering wheel, and you don't go up and down because obviously turn signal. You adjust them using the dial. As you can see, I still have it on, but being the Cadillac, these are the rain sense wipers, so it's turned on, but it will not wipe unless it's actually raining. If you needed to wipe right now, obviously you could switch it to low and it'll just keep going, or high. If you want the fluid, you press in on the stalk here. I'm sure most of you are used to having your wipers on the right hand side, but this is where they chose to put your park, reverse, neutral, and drive. So to put yourself in park, you just press in right there. It's like neutral, you pull it out towards yourself. If you need to go in reverse, you pull it out toward yourself and then go up. In drive, you pull it out and go down. Currently set that you have to have your seatbelt fastened before it lets you drive. And if you have a passenger, the passenger has to have theirs fastened as well. You can turn that off, but it's just handy and it keeps you out of getting tickets for some stupid reason. That way, cop pulls you over and says, you didn't have your seatbelt on. It's like, no, I made sure to have it on. I remember because I started driving. Granted, you could have taken it off, but once you have it on, most of the time you're going to keep it on, so a little safety there. Then we look over here. Currently, I'm in the charging view, but lets you see what your charge is, how much range you currently have, how long till you're full, that kind of thing. Here, service unavailable. To continue contact OnStar, mention error code 302. I have had that issue ever since the vehicle was purchased. I've contacted OnStar and was told, oh, there's a problem, the code, they're trying to get it fixed. It'll be a little bit, we'll let you know. I've seen online some people say just reset your profile and that will go away. I tried that once. That was a whole other issue. I decided not to try that again. I may do it at a later date. But right now, I'll just wait for OnStar. What that part's supposed to be is you hit that, it'll show you what charging locations are nearby, from what I was told. And you can plan things that way. Google Maps does just fine for me, so I'm not really missing this feature at all. Create a schedule when you're charging at home so you can make sure it charges off of your peak time hours. So let's say your rates go down at 9 p.m. or whatever. You can set it to charge starting at 9:01 just to make sure. Or you can have it precondition your cabin like starting at 8 in the morning, so when you're ready to hop in your car at 8:15, your temperature will be just right. And since you're plugged in, it'll be using the power from the house instead of the power from your car, so you can still have your full charge of whatever percentage you set it to. If you go to settings, you can put in your home charging location so it knows when you're home versus when you're somewhere else charging. It's another little electric Mustang. Notifications pop up to remind you to charge. Your fast charging prep, which we saw it do when I was on the way here, it automatically started fast charging prep. Your preconditioning temperature, you set your preferred charge times, all that stuff. Then, okay, this is the charging thing that we were looking at. This little icon grabs your phone stuff. We will just bleep out those numbers. But just looking at it, if I put my phone into the charger, the wireless charger right there, there'd be a little lightning bolt through there to let you know it is charging. This turns on and off your one pedal driving. This little icon here opens your glove box. And that does something else. Let's see. Lets you know what phones are connected. Cool. So, on this start page, this page you can adjust to whatever is happening at the time. So you've got music playing and your maps going, that's what will show up there. If you've got an audiobook going, the book will show up there with your maps. But this is the first page of your apps. Well, the built-in apps, I should say. So you've got your audio, which currently I've got set for my YouTube music. Maps, obviously bring up your maps. Phone, it's that icon there, bring up your phone. Google Assistant, the same as on your phone or in your Google Home, that kind of thing. You say the magic words, Google will respond, and you can ask it questions or tell it to do certain things to the car. There's the Play Store, so you can download additional apps like Audible. Everybody got their SoundCloud ready. You've got your music, your books, all that fun stuff. You can also navigate all of that using this. Also super handy. So, as you see across the bottom there, you can use it like a joystick and press up and down, and that'll go up, sides, down, up. You turn it to go across. I have to go through each of these individually now, but I finished charging, so I need to go. Alright, I will catch you guys next time. Take care.